Hey, welcome to The Explainer. You know that feeling when something looks absolutely perfect on paper, every feature is thought out, but then in the real world, it just kind of stumbles? Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. We've got this fascinating case study about one app, a sort of time machine, that was supposed to take us all back to the glory days of the flip phone.
All right, first things first, let's set the scene a bit. If you had a cell phone back in the early 2000s, you definitely remember these. Before our phones could play actual songs, we had polyphonic ringtones. They were these layered, kind of 8-bit video game sounding tunes. And having one on your Nokia or Motorola, that was the absolute peak of cool. They just have this very specific, very nostalgic charm, don't they?
Okay, so now imagine an app that promises to be the ultimate library for these sounds. And I'm not talking about, a few hundred. We're talking about a collection of over 6,000 of them. Just let that sink in for a second. A massive archive of an entire era of sound, all living in a single app right on your phone. The scale of that alone is pretty ambitious.
And that brings us right to the app at the center of this whole story, Polyphonic Mania. Its promise was simple, but really ambitious. To be the single biggest, most complete offline collection of these classic sounds. A genuine blast from the past delivered right to your smartphone.
And honestly, the core promise here was brilliant. You download the app one time, and that's it. You've got this massive library at your fingertips, forever. You could browse through them, listen to them, and set your favorite nostalgic tune as your ringtone, all completely offline. No data connection needed. What a great idea.
All right, let's pop the hood and see what's really going on here. Because when you start to look at the technical details, the app's blueprint, it seems almost flawless. I mean, on paper, this thing looks like it was perfectly engineered for success.
Seriously, just look at this feature list. It's got the huge offline collection, yes, but it also has multi-language support. It wasn't just a boring list of files. It had a full-featured media player built right in and a favorite system so you could keep track of the ones you liked. And here's the real killer feature, the ability to directly set a sound as your ringtone from inside the app. It's like it was checking every single box you could possibly think of.
And the library wasn't just big, it was diverse. Sure, over 5,000 English ringtones is going to grab your attention, but the developers also included hundreds of Hindi and Bengali tracks and even a collection of Arabic ones. So you can tell this wasn't just made for one market. They were clearly thinking about a global audience from the get-go.
The engineering behind this was really clever too. To manage all that data, the ringtones were stored in compressed zip files. The app would only pull out the one single sound you wanted to hear right when you wanted to hear it. Then it used the phone's native media player for smooth playback and a special system permission to set the ringtone for you automatically. Very, very efficient. So, the picture that's forming here is of a technically excellent product. It's robust, it's packed with features, it serves a global audience. It really seems like it should be the #1 app in its category. By all accounts, the blueprint is perfect. So with a blueprint this good, you have to ask the obvious question, right? Is this it? Is this the ultimate ringtone app, the one that finally cracked the code?
Well, not quite. The reality, as told by the Google Play Store, is a very, very mediocre 3.3 out of 5 stars. So what on earth happened?
Okay, so let's move away from the blueprints and into the real world. It's time to look past all the technical specs and see what the actual users had to say when they downloaded and tried to use Polyphonic Mania.
The numbers tell a pretty interesting story. Over 10,000 downloads shows that there was definitely interest, but only 56 reviews? That kind of suggests that most people who downloaded it didn't really feel strongly enough to leave feedback one way or the other. And the ones who did, well, they're the ones pulling the average down to that 3.3 rating.
And this one review, from a user named Zanetta Gray, it just captures the entire problem perfectly. She wrote, "I can't find a way to download the ringtone. This app is exactly what I'm looking for, but there's no way to download them." You can just feel the frustration there, can't you? The app had exactly what she wanted, but she couldn't figure out how to get it.
And this gets us to the most important question. Why did this disconnect happen? How could an app that was so well engineered, with all the right features, leave users like Zanetta feeling so completely confused?
And here it is. This is the absolute heart of the problem, the core misunderstanding. On one side, you have the developer's intent. They wanted to create this elegant, automated solution that sets the ringtone for you directly. On the other side, you have the user's much simpler expectation. They just wanted a button that let them download a sound file that they could then find and manage on their own.
And this is just a brilliant illustration of what we call user experience, or UX. It's not just about whether a feature works on a technical level. It's about how it feels to use it. The app's function to set the ringtone worked perfectly, but because that didn't match the user's mental model of downloading a file, The whole experience just felt broken to them. This whole story really boils down to a few crucial lessons. First off, a technically perfect feature can totally fail if it's not what users are expecting. Second, being clear and straightforward is often way more important than being clever with your engineering. And finally, maybe the biggest takeaway of all, is that it works and it's easy to understand are two very, very different things. Because in the end, the user's reality, it always wins.
And that leaves us with one final question to think about. When we build or design or create anything, which matters more? The perfect blueprint we started with, or the messy, unpredictable, and ultimately decisive human reality of how people actually use it? That's the explainer.